Mike here, The Fresh Rinse, on this beautiful Friday. Still under the weather, but we're going to knock out a nice job here at this theme park called Land of Illusion, just a few minutes from my home. I've been working for these guys for a few years. Got a real quick story about this place. This is actually called a Scream Park. It began as just a haunted trail not too many years ago, literally maybe 15 years ago. Local volunteer firefighters wanted to raise money, and so a couple of guys put a haunted trail together on their own property, and they raised so much money that they did it again the next year and the next year and the next year. Ultimately, they ran out of parking space and haunting space, and so they elected to buy a whole bunch of land here in our area and turned it into a full-fledged Scream Park. Now what we see here is just the, I don't know what you call this, like a courtyard area. It goes all the way up to there. 3 years ago, I think it was, my son-in-law and we surface cleaned all of this. And there's a lot. It goes all the way up to there, all of this, and then flushed everything down into these drains. All of this over through here. And we did everything in one day, including bubblegum removal. So that was a lot of fun. And so whenever they have a need for pressure washing services, of course, they call the Fresh. Now today, all I'm doing is washing the top of this deck and an identical one on the other side. These are some sort of conference rooms, office rooms, and so forth, and they have cookouts and whatnot up here for their employees. And just soft washing this, again, this one and the one on the other side. Let's go inside and we'll go up there and take a look at it. So as you can see, all of this is just organic growth that has developed because of this flat roof. It's some kind of an aluminum, actually. I'm expecting it to clean up just fine. In addition to cleaning the floor of both decks, they want me just to soft wash this right here. You can see this organic growth. The problem here is that this is not stone. It's a foam of some kind, and so I have to be extremely gentle with this. So I've got the 12 volts set up. We're going to spray all this down, allow it to dwell. I brought 330 gallons of water. Of course, they have hookup. We're going to let this dwell and then rinse it off. I've got this set at 6%. I think that'll do the job. All right, got some before and after pictures. You can see it's already taking full effect. So they are getting ready for Christmas, setting up all their Christmas decorations. It's pretty darn cool. You can take a tour through here, bring the family. It's a lot of fun. This is called Land of Illusion. And I don't know if this is Franklin or Germantown, Ohio. Maybe Miamisburg. Nonetheless, if you live in the Cincinnati-Dayton area, it's pretty cool. They've got a nice theme park with a bunch of rides. They also have a water park. Of course, their main crowd pleaser is the Scream Fest. And they have several trails that you can take. And I think they take you around in some sort of a buggy, make that happen. Okay, I've laid my 6%. It's been dwelling for about 10 minutes. Old Jazzy looks small from up here. I've never been here for one of the concerts, but I'm to understand the Stage of Rage is all the rage. I do know for a fact that the residents in this farming community are not happy about Land of Illusion at all. And there have been a lot of protests, but all is well. These people are doing a great work, and they still provide a lot for the local charities, in particular fire departments. So just think about what a couple of guys, volunteer firefighters, with a vision we're able to do. This is absolutely amazing. And this is just the courtyard. So you park over here. I'll show you the parking lot when I clean that other deck. And then the tram brings you here, and there's all kinds of festivities, of course, food and, you know, cotton candy and all that good stuff. And then over here they have the water park, rides, you know, it's crazy. All because of a vision. Keep that in mind. Without a vision, the people perish. All right, you see how dirty that it is and how dirty it was. Just straight water. It's coming right up. No need for a surface cleaner. Look at that. Shouldn't take long at all. Of course, on these banisters, they want them to look old and rustic, you know, kind of give it the haunted house feel. And so they're not asking me to do a lot on those. This was by far the worst area. Nothing for the fresh, baby. Nothing for the fresh. So I should have mentioned that there's a gutter system that runs right along this panel here. You can see these little slits or holes. So all the water runs into the gutter and then underground. So no need for disposal. And they own all this property. All is good. All is good for the fresh. All right, like LeBron, I've now taken my talents to the east side. It's not terribly dirty, much like before. We just shoot our 6% here, let it dwell, and give it a hearty rinse. So you can see the parking area come in over there. Main Street's right there. By the way, if you're not familiar with Ohio, it's pretty much what you get. Yeah, it's flat country. You know, when I'm at a place like this, whether I'm working or just enjoying it with my family, I can't help but to think about the origins, like how something like this began. And it's very encouraging, especially if you know a little bit of the story. I mean, at one point, there were a couple of firefighters who had a conversation. Maybe it was at the break table or whatever, and they're like, we got to raise money for our families and for the community. And how are we going to do that? I can hear one guy saying, well, I've got a bunch of land. Another guy says, well, I've got a tractor. Another guy says, well, I've got a wagon. Let's drag people around and scare them to death. In a vision, with just a small vision. See, the Bible says, despise not the days of small beginnings. So some of you who are really struggling in these early years and you're thinking, man, am I ever going to get a foothold? You just got to remain faithful to the calling, whatever it is. And of course, remain faithful to the Lord. Who would ever thought 10 years ago that I'd be washing a theme park? And I know I'm just washing the deck and anybody could do it, but you know, you just look back and see where you came, and those of us who started with a 2.5 and that's all we had, we can look back and we can see what the good Lord has done. And then those of you who are able to start with big, heavy equipment, man, that's awesome too. Imagine where you're going from there. It's only up. So, all right, let's do more rinsing. Then we'll go to the other side, take some after pictures, and we'll come back and do a little detail. Don't go anywhere. Let's see what time it is. It is 12:40. I got here just after 11, so what is that? An hour and 30 minutes, something like that. I think I'll drive around, get a couple of cool photos for the archives, and then call it a day. It means a lot to me that you chime in and leave a comment, positive or negative. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, hit the bell tab. We'll spend lots of time together. All right, Mike, the Fresh Rinse, and I'm out.